So, if you could lie down for me. First of all, with the side control position, just to get the basic position, what I want you to think about is trying to get ideally the top knee in the armpit, or if that's not available, just on the shoulder is fine for the height. Yeah? The bottom knee over here comes towards the hip, so we're trying to use the knee to stop him from being able to turn and put that guard back in. We're using that to block this position over here. Standard position, we're going to come underneath the head over this side, and we're going to come underneath the armpit on this side. Our chin is not going to go past the body line. If I go past the body line, I'm liable to be thrown across his body. So what I'm looking to do is from here, be underneath. Now Pacey wants to get this on my hip over here to create that space, and I don't want that to be there. I want to be, you know, in tighter over here, so I can get some nice control from this position, and it's really hard for him to escape. Okay, that's the basic position that I want you to sort of focus on. Get that right first, and then move to the next step. Okay. The next thing I want you to think about is what sort of submissions are available from here. Okay, if we've got this arm isolated over here, then we've got the option of going to an arm bar. So one way that I can lead up to that is to switch, step across, and bring my elbow back. Okay, so I hyperextend that across my hip over here. So from that basic position, I've got my strong underhook over here. If I don't have that, I can take it back when I try this. Okay, so make sure I've got a good strong underhook over here. I'm going to switch my hips, and that allows me to get underneath his shoulder with this bottom knee. I'm then going to make sure I keep that in nice and tight as I step across his face, and I just bring my elbow back onto the wrist. Okay.
How do you defend that?
Don't have the arm. It's hard, yeah. That's right. All right, so that's one thing we're doing from there. One other thing we can do is this arm over here. This one's extended, okay? From here, we've got the option of bringing it straight back and hyper-extending it over here. Particularly if he's trying to push into me to, like if he's trying to do this kind of escape, okay, we can start to lock his position up and hyper-extend that elbow. If we're down here and that he's not pushing on me, but that hand's sort of floating around over here, then we can put our wrist over the top of that, our other hand over the top of our own wrist. We can rotate and then slide it down away from his body. Not in too close, away from his body over here, and he's feeling that already, okay? We of course also have a whole bunch of wrist locks that we can use, as long as we can control the elbow. So for example, I'm using my bicep over here to stop the elbow from moving and just compressing from here. Okay, we can do that a bunch of different ways as well. Okay, in terms of chokes, my favorite choke from here is a gi choke, is to get this hand in deep over here, so I touch the ground over here. Then this hand's going to go all the way underneath and grab the collar from underneath. My elbow is then going to come back towards my body, so it's on his chest and slides in nice and deep. From here, I sprawl and angle in this direction. Okay, so that digs nice and deep underneath. Boom. This here stops him from being able to turn out of it too easily. Okay? Good. So that's the aggressor, that's the top position. From the bottom, we're going to look for a number of things. If I can do the bottom position as well, that'd be great. First of all, we look at where his weight is. If his weight's too far that way, we push him that way. If his weight's too far that way, we push him that way. Too far that way, too far that way, we try to push him in the direction he's coming from. Okay? So how that looks, if he's too high. Okay? Down that way. If he's too low, okay, we can go straight into potentially submissions from here, or just driving him down from here as well. If he's too far over this way, I keep the head down, roll, and start to look for the choke from there. But the basic submission that we're going to look for, sorry, the basic escape, the fourth way is if he's back this way, so we're going to use the basic escape for that, okay? So for me, the first thing I want to do is with this hand, is I want to get it onto the hip, okay? And this one I want to try to get it onto the shoulder, so I can use those as a brace, as a frame, okay, to make it hard for him to bring his weight back on me. I've already got my hips quite far away from him, so I don't need to do much more with that. But if he was following me and making it hard, I would bridge into him, hip escape out, bring my foot up high, drop it down, and start to look for my guard game. That might be from here, looking for kicks, or looking for submissions. Okay, looking for different submissions. I've gone for an armbar with the leg just over top because it was already there. The general way of going for it would be over here, so we can use that to drive him off balance even further. Okay? So they're the basic ways to get out. There are plenty of others. There's lots of fancy ones. There's the phantom escape, which I really love. Phantom escape is from here. We couldn't escape using our regular methods, so we sneak this one here through. And we sneak around, come back up onto our knees. Okay, from there we can take the top if we wish. There's a few ideas for you to work with. Okay, I'm throwing a lot at you. Okay, but choose something that's at your level and drill it. Okay, let's go.